we are going to learn about if-else in Python. Specifically, we will look at how to use if statement, else statement, elif statement, and comparison operators. Let's look at this with an example. In this PyCharm editor, I have created an example to illustrate how to use if-else. When you're using if-else, we will be using many comparison operators. So these are the comparison operators. Double equal to means equals comparison. This is for the not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So we should first understand how the syntax works. So the way the syntax works is if space condition. This is an expression or a condition followed by the colon to indicate the condition is ended. So when you run the program, Python will evaluate this condition and it will come up with true or false this condition. If the condition is true, then it will execute the statements below the if statement. Okay, if the condition is true. It's important to know in Python, this indentation has a special meaning. If you do one indentation inside the if, that means this statement belongs to the if. If I have it like this does not belong to the if. It has a different meaning. You have to indent this to indicate run this block of statements. You can have more than one statements, like print. You could have multiple statements under the if, but everything is based on how much indentation the statement has been done. Okay, so if condition is true, run the statement. If the condition is false, then it will go to the next block, which is elif. So elif is equal to else if. That means you are trying to compare with another condition. It's not necessary that you need to have elif. Elif is an optional, which means you can have simply if and nothing, or comparison. After that, you can have the rest of the program. If you want more comparison, you can use elif. And else is another way of saying if this condition fails, else if this condition fails, then if all these condition fails, then do what is written inside the else. Okay, so in this example, what we have done is we have two variables, number 1, 10, number 2, 20. If you run this program, it will try to compare. If num1 is greater than num2, then print this. Else if the other way around, then print this. Else print num1 and num2 are equal. Okay, let's run this and then I will also explain this. Okay, it says num2 is greater than num1, which is true, right? Because the first condition in the if failed, so it went to the elif. The second condition passed, so it did the printing. After printing, it will jump from this statement all the way after any statement after this else block. Okay, so let's say if I change this num1 to 30, if you run, now the num1 is bigger, right? You should see here, num1 is greater than num2. Now let me change it to 20. Num1 and num2 are equal. So essentially it's doing a comparison of the or evaluate the condition. If the condition is true, it will run that statement. If this condition is true, it will run here. If this condition is true, it will run here. If both condition fails, then it will run here. Also to know if one condition is good, after that it will skip to the if else block and then it will come all the way down. So this is another example to show that you don't need to have to use only the comparison operator. You can also have Boolean values to compare. So here I can say if flag. That means if the condition is true. If the flag is true, it'll print. Let's see. Flag is true. Or I can say false. Flag is false. So in many times in the program, you will be having situation to use Boolean variables or to evaluate expression that could result in the Boolean values. So you can also use that in the if comparison. It not necessarily the numbers. You can also use string and other operators, other objects to compare. This is just a syntax where whatever the object that you use here, the condition will evaluate a true or false. It could be any type of object comparison. It could be number, it could be string, it could be list, tuple, any kind of collection you could use here. All right, try this simple example and learn about if and else. If you like it, continue to watch more videos and subscribe.